HEADLOCK, der Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, emotions were pretty high last night. It was. It's always cool to be in Oberhausen. It's a very special environment. They seem to have taken a liking to me, so that's pretty cool. Walter's easily the hardest opponent I've ever had in WXW, and he's probably my biggest rival, even though I haven't been able to get the singles win on him yet. So I knew it was a tough task, and I was just kind of thinking on surviving and just feeding off the energy I could. It's really all I was going through, just trying to win the match, because 16 Carat was a major goal of mine to win it. This year, unfortunately, it didn't happen, but, you know, 'tis life. So.
Hi David, you've recently had a couple of quite hard-hitting matches with Matt Riddle. Are those matches something that you look forward to, or dread, or just something that you think you've just got to go through?
That's fun. Do I dread them? I definitely don't dread them. I always look up to the challenge. Matt's, probably the hottest independent professional wrestler out there, and you could just say the hottest professional wrestler out there right now. His name's everywhere. Everything he says is buzzworthy. His matches are fantastic, and to boot, he's a really cool bro. But I like wrestling Matt. I like wrestling with Thatcher. I like wrestling with people that really bring that next level of intensity out of you. With guys like Walter, again, they're my favorite type of matches to have. There's somebody in North Carolina. He's actually from Georgia, but he wrestles in North Carolina all the time. I wrestled against him for the shotgun title at PWX. His name's Chip Day. He's another one who's an amazing striker. He always makes you feel it the next day. So I look forward to those matches, though, because they always have the most intensity, and I enjoy that sort of thing. Joan Jett's awesome. First, thank you for the video package comment and the CZW comment. There's a lot of good talent at CZW, and I think they get overlooked. A lot of good talent at CZW gets overlooked nowadays, because people just people dismiss it as just a blood and guts kind of place, and that's it has that, but it's also got some of the best juniors in the world, some of the best heavyweights in the world have wrestled there. It's a great place to find new, fresh faces for the independent scene as well. They're not like your typical super indie in that regard, where they bring in new faces and they're not afraid to take chances on people, which is difficult in front of that crowd. As far as the video goes, that all the credit in the world goes to John Carlo Dinamo, who created that video. I gave him a concept as far as what we wanted to do to put it together, but he's just second to none, man. Between guys like him and Kenny Johnson, they're changing the world of professional wrestling with their production value. And now the actual question. Joan Jett, I'm a fan of Joan Jett. I was typically just at first I was just I like her hit songs kind of Joan Jett fan. And then I was driving to absolutely nowhere in Pennsylvania, and they have a bunch of random radio stations, and I just turned it on, and then Do You Want to Touch came on the radio, and I was like, it's a really good song. I like that. I took it to my buddy that night, and I was like, hey, I think that I want this to be my entrance song. Like, this is what I want to do. And I was coming out to Don't Hate Me by Nerf Herder. That's what I was coming out to at first. And I played him the Do You Want to Touch song, and he said, no, that's dumb. That's such a stupid song. You shouldn't come out to that at all. I was like, I think I like it. So that was literally how that came to be. I got to meet Joan Jett, too. I did. She's gorgeous.
Did she mom out?
She did. Yeah. She paid $5 for the picture, too. So. As far as Shane goes, I guess I'll reverse those, because I think the more juicy question is the first one. So, Tag League, I've been tagging with Jurgen Simmons here as Massive Product a couple times, and that went pretty well. I enjoyed that. Those were a lot of fun in Hamburg and in Dusseldorf. JT Dunn's here, and you know there's been some talks about maybe doing something like that. I don't know, but you know we gotta see, because we're both doing our own thing and we're feeling pretty good about it right now. So there's that. I'd love to be a part of World Tag League, even if it was similar to how like Mike Bailey was here last year and did some single stuff too. That'd be cool. I just like being a part of WXW, so anytime they want to include me on their events, I'm always down to do it. As far as Shane goes, Shane's easily one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet, and I've always said that. And he's so talented. He can have a good match with anybody. He can have a good match in any style with anybody, and it's awesome that he's finally getting recognized the way he should have been for the past couple of years. Him and I were great friends, probably the best of friends for a long period of time, and then you know, just things happen, and it is what it is, but it doesn't change me always wanting the best for him, and everything that he's doing is great, and I know that it's just really awesome to see him get the things that I know he's really wanted to get in professional wrestling. So regardless of any personal differences, I always have love for Shane, and I always wish him the best. It's a question I get asked a lot about the differences between like European wrestling and American wrestling. Is this going to work all the time? And I mean, I think European wrestling fans seem to sing a lot more. That's pretty cool. It's like a different atmosphere. I think it depends where you go in the U.S. because it's not fair to just group the United States all into one thing, because you go to different regions and those regions are different. Within the same region, there's fan bases that react differently to different things. So a good professional wrestler knows how to get whatever he wants out of his audience, and that's kind of something that I've tried to work on as much as I can. And one of the reasons I love traveling so much is getting to learn that and getting better and being able to adapt wherever you are. And I think being versatile in today's day and age is extremely important, because again, like someone like Matt Riddle, the reason why he's so popular right now and so good at what he does is because he can have his type of match, he can have an Eddie Edwards type of match, he can have a Tim Thatcher type of match, he can have a Jack Evans type of match, like whatever you want, he can do all that stuff, which is just great. But I enjoy my time here, always, and there's little differences, but it's pretty much the same deal. I think the most difficult part of this whole thing is the anticipation of getting the microphone over here, and me trying to remember what I think right away. I actually did talk to the Scenic City Invitational people, and they messaged me and they sent me the date, and they're like, hey, we saved one spot and we wanted you there because I'm good friends with Jimmy Rave and with Chip Day, and I guess they wrestle there all the time, so they put in a good word, and they said, hey, we saved a spot for you. And I was like, oh great, when's the date? I'm really excited to do it. And then they gave me the date and I was like, oh, I'm booked. So I couldn't do it, unfortunately, but hopefully sometime in the future. As far as tournament wrestling goes, it seems to be the phrase I keep saying as far as this goes. Sorry for the repetition. But as far as that goes, I love tournament wrestling. I think it's really cool to be able to see a story develop from start to finish, and it's the same thing with the playoffs in football or soccer or basketball or baseball, whatever it is. It's always cool to see something develop through an entire thing right before your eyes. I love tournament wrestling. That's why Best of the Best is always one of my favorite things for CZW. I love watching Bola. I love, I think AEW has one now too. That one's pretty good, and I believe the J-Lit from AIW is another good one. What's the one now that WWN's doing? The style battle stuff. Those are always really cool. I'm a big fan of wrestling tournaments, so there's one coming up pretty soon at the end of May that I'd love to get my hands on. Yeah, it was a pretty cool concept. When I won the title at the anniversary show, there was talks about whether or not I would like just keep the title here, because there were, you know, obviously concerns traveling all the time and taking it everywhere, or if I would take it home. And I told them that I could take it home and that I'll speak to companies and see if they would allow defenses. And the thing that was really cool about it was the companies I talked to, almost instantaneously, I brought up, you want to host a WXW match and you'd be featured on the WXW network? Every time they were like, yes. Everyone was so excited to work with WXW, which was something that was really cool, and it shows the level of prestige this company holds. And I think sometimes it gets taken for granted. But WXW it's a big thing in the States. I mean, people follow it, and then the people that didn't follow it, I got a lot of fans come up to me at shows that would tell me they now tune into WXW because they heard about it through the Shotgun title thing, and that's all we wanted. And getting to wrestle guys like A.R. Fox and Sami Callihan and Michael Elgin and Riddle and Leo Rush and Chip and just countless other guys that were Keith Lee. They're so talented, and Josh Alexander and Tyson Dukes, and I could name, I think I had like 18 defenses, something like that. They were all awesome, and it was all really cool to be able to do it.
Headlock, der Pro Wrestling Podcast.